Hello student, I welcome to all my dear students, myself Dr. J.K. Sali. Today we are going to learn role of hypothesis and types of hypothesis. So let's start with the new topic, role of hypothesis and types of hypothesis. Role of hypothesis in research. The word hypothesis is a compound of two words, hypo and thesis, and literally hypo means under or below, and thesis means a reason, theory of rational viewpoint. The scientist knows his question or problems. He can make a guess as to the possible answers. Workmaster. The guesses he makes are the hypothesis, which either solve the problem in further investigation. Hypothesis is a provisional formulation, tentative solution of the problem, and faced by the scientist. Scientist starts assuming that the solution is true without, of course, personally in its truthfulness. Types of hypothesis. In this slide, now we will discuss types of hypothesis. The first is simple hypothesis. A simple hypothesis is a hypothesis that reflects relationship independent and dependent variable. For example, higher the poverty in a society, higher would be the rate of crimes. Thereafter, next point is complex hypothesis. A complex hypothesis is a hypothesis that reflects relationship among more than two variables. For example, higher the illiteracy in a society would be poverty and crime rate. Next point is working or research hypothesis. Hypothesis that is accepted to put, test and work in a research. It is called working hypothesis. Hypothesis that is assumed to be suitable in certain facts, relationship of phenomena. Thereafter, next point is null hypothesis. It is a hypothesis that expresses no relationship between variables. For example, poverty has nothing to do with the rate of crime in a society. Next point is alternative hypothesis. It is an alternative assumptions which is adopted after the working research hypothesis to generate required theory. Next point is logical hypothesis. Hypothesis that can be verified logically. It is known as logical hypothesis. And last types of hypothesis is statistical hypothesis. Hypothesis that can be verified statistically is known as statistical hypothesis. Any hypothesis, the quality of being verified statistically. So, these were the various types of hypothesis. Next is formulation of a hypothesis. Rules for constructing hypothesis. The first is search for variable measurements with the most quantitative characteristics available. And second is analyze variables through their relationships. Difficulties in formulation of a hypothesis. The first point is lack of knowledge of scientific methods. The lack of scientific knowledge person that present difficulties in the formulation of hypothesis. It is not always possible to have complete information and knowledge the scientific methods for formulation of hypothesis. Thereafter, next point is lack of clear theoretical background. The hypothesis does not always a clear-cut and definite theoretical background. Because this weakness, it is not easy to arrive at certain conclusion. Next point is lack of logical background. Hypothesis not only lacks a definite and clear theoretical background, it is in the logical use of theoretical material is available. This means that there is no logical background. Next is utility of hypothesis. The first is a hypothesis helps in drawing specific conclusion. Second is a hypothesis provides guidance to proceed in certain definite directions. And third is a hypothesis helps in selecting pertinent factors. Hypothesis is stated negatively. It is called a null hypothesis. The object of this hypothesis is to avoid the personal bias investigator during the data collection. Functions of a hypothesis. The first point is to test theories. The function of a hypothesis is to state a specific relationship between the phenomena in such way this relationship can be empirically tested. The hypothesis must be empirically as either probable or not probable. Thereafter, next point is to suggest theories. Every theory permits the formulation of additional hypotheses. This, when tested, either provide or disprovide and in turn constitute further test of original theory. And the last function of a hypothesis is to describe social phenomena. Hypotheses are tested They explain the social phenomena associated with them. The phenomena may be totally new or partly known earlier. So, these were the various functions of a hypothesis. Thank you.